In the heart of Egypt's bare sands, beneath the timeless pyramids and forgotten temples, lies a mystery that has haunted the corridors of history. Whispers of a deadly curse unleashed upon those who dare to disturb the eternal slumber of the pharaohs. Tales of death, misfortune, and the supernatural swirl around the graves of ancient kings. Join us as we journey into the shadows of the ancient world to uncover the chilling truth behind the curse of the pharaohs. November 4th, 1922. Howard Carter's hands tremble as he drills a hole into Tutankhamun's tomb. The air smells stale, like death preserved. Lord Carnarvon watches, silent and pale. Neither man notices the warning carved into the wall. Death comes on swift wings. Long before the tomb of Tutankhamun was cracked open, the idea of a pharaoh's curse was already taking shape, though not in the way modern myths suggest. In ancient Egypt, belief in Heka, divine magic, was woven into the very fabric of life and death. Tombs weren't just final resting places, they were fortified spiritual sanctuaries. Warnings inscribed on tomb walls were less about conjuring death from beyond, and more about practical deterrence. "The gods shall strike down any who enter," read some inscriptions, meant to frighten off grave robbers, not invite supernatural vengeance. These were words of power, but not the curses we think of today. The famed Book of the Dead, a collection of funerary spells, included incantations for protection and justice in the afterlife. Some passages warned of divine punishment for desecration, but even these didn't describe the kind of malevolent retribution popularized in the 20th century. There were no mummies rising from sarcophagi, no plagues released upon the world. While the curse of the pharaohs may not have originated from ancient spells or scrolls, the fear it inspires feels timeless. Born from whispers, warnings, and the unknown, it lingers in the shadows of history. Perhaps it was never meant to be literal, but what if something ancient still watches from the dark, waiting for those bold enough to disturb the silence of the dead? Egypt, November 4th, 1922. British archaeologist Howard Carter, backed by his patron Lord Carnarvon, unearthed the nearly intact tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun in the Valley of the Kings. The world was mesmerized by the treasures found within, but soon the focus shifted from gold and artifacts to whispers of an ancient curse. Was there an unseen force punishing those who dared to defile the boy king's tomb? Just months after the tomb's opening, Lord Carnarvon died from an infected mosquito bite. His sudden death fueled media frenzy, with speculations about a pharaoh's curse exacting revenge on those who disturbed the king's rest. 6 others who entered the tomb died within a decade: a prince, a radiologist, a nurse. But Carter, he lived another 17 years. Was the curse selective or a lie? Tutankhamun's curse was not the first. Centuries earlier, the pharaohs wove threats into the stones of their tombs, promises of agony, of fire, of a death no grave robber could escape. Deep beneath Giza, in 1925, archaeologists found the tomb of Queen Hetepheres I, or what was left of it. Thieves had stolen her body, her sarcophagus empty. But her curse remained. Carved into the wall, a message burned: whoever harms this tomb, the gods will strangle their children. Their name will rot in the sun. The team ignored it. They took her relics, a golden bed, a jeweled chair, to a Cairo museum. Weeks later, the lead archaeologist's son choked to death at dinner. A doctor called it an accident. The locals? Well, they called it justice. Today, her treasures sit behind glass, but guards swear they've seen a woman in royal robes watching the children who visit. In 1799, workers restoring the tomb of Amenhotep III, a king so powerful he declared himself a god, dug into a hidden chamber. Inside, they found a statue of the pharaoh, with its mouth torn open in a scream. That night, the crew claimed the desert wind carried voices, not whispers, but shrieks. One man refused to leave, staying to guard the site. When they returned the next morning, the man had disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only his boot filled with sand. In 2014, a team using ground-penetrating radar reported equipment failures. Their leader, Dr. Nadia Kamal, said, "It felt like something didn't want us to see. We heard scratching, like claws on stone." Uneasy and unable to continue, they abandoned their work. To this day, the tomb remains untouched, its secrets locked away beneath the shifting sands. In 1976, Egypt sent Ramses II, the greatest pharaoh, to France. His mummy needed repair, but the pharaoh didn't go quietly. As the plane ascended, the engine sputtered and failed. Thick smoke billowed into the cockpit, blinding the crew. The pilot later admitted, "My instruments went mad. I thought the dead king was dragging us down." Against the odds, they managed an emergency landing. Yet, when technicians in Paris inspected the aircraft, they found nothing wrong. No mechanical failure, no clear explanation. At the museum, workers restoring Ramses fell sick, headaches, hallucinations. A security guard snapped photos of the mummy and burned them the next day. When asked why, he said, "Its eyes opened." Ramses returned to Egypt in 1977, without incident. The skies were clear, the journey uneventful. Was it coincidence, or had the pharaoh finally been restored to where he was always meant to rest? For centuries, the idea of a pharaoh's curse has fascinated and terrified. But could science provide a rational explanation for the so-called deadly consequences of disturbing an ancient tomb? Researchers suggest that natural elements, not supernatural forces, could be behind the mysterious deaths. One of the leading theories is toxic mold. Sealed tombs provide the perfect breeding ground for Aspergillus flavus, a type of fungus known to cause severe respiratory issues. The spores, when inhaled, can lead to deadly lung infections, particularly among those with weakened immune systems. Could it be that the curse was merely an ancient strain of deadly mold waiting to be disturbed? Others have speculated that radiation plays a role. Some theorists propose that ancient Egyptians may have unknowingly used radioactive materials, such as uranium, in tomb paint or decoration. While evidence remains inconclusive, some researchers argue that long-term exposure to these materials could explain sudden illnesses and deaths among those excavating tombs. Psychological factors cannot be ignored. Imagine working in a dark, confined space, surrounded by centuries-old death warnings. The power of suggestion is strong, and heightened stress, fatigue, and paranoia can manifest real symptoms. Did the fear of the curse itself contribute to the deaths of those who entered the tombs? In 2002, researchers analyzed the lifespans of individuals present at Tutankhamun's tomb opening. Their findings? No significant difference in lifespan between those who entered and those who didn't. Many of the so-called cursed individuals, including Howard Carter, lived long, full lives. If the curse were real, why did it seem to spare some while taking others? Science suggests that mold, environmental hazards, and psychology, not an ancient curse, hold the answers. Yet despite rational explanations, the legend of the curse of the pharaohs persists, and perhaps that in itself is the real mystery. The pharaoh's curse has captivated generations, but beneath the layers of mystery, many of its alleged victims met their fate for reasons far more mundane than supernatural wrath. Lord Carnarvon's death is often cited as the first victim of Tutankhamun's curse. The reality, he succumbed to sepsis after shaving over a mosquito bite that became infected. A frail man, already suffering from chronic illness and malaria, Carnarvon's passing was more a result of his declining health than any ancient malediction. Few did more to fan the flames of the curse than Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. A devoted spiritualist, Doyle publicly endorsed the idea that unseen forces were punishing those who defiled ancient tombs. The media, hungry for sensationalism, took his words and ran. Sales skyrocketed as stories of the Pharaoh's wrath filled the front pages. But was it truly a curse, or simply a clever way to sell more papers? Confirmation bias plays a significant role in the myth. Stories of deaths and misfortunes were highlighted, while those who lived long, untroubled lives, like Howard Carter himself, were conveniently ignored. 6 out of the 26 people present at the tomb's opening died within a decade, but statistically, that was no higher than average life expectancy rates at the time. While many of the deaths linked to the curse can be explained through illness, coincidence, or media exaggeration, the legend lives on. The power of the unknown, the weight of history, and the stories passed down through time have kept the curse alive. Even as science seeks to demystify the past, there remains something unsettling about the idea that some secrets are meant to stay buried. The Curse of the Pharaohs is more than a story of tombs and death. It's a mirror reflecting our most ancient fears. The fear of what lies beneath. The fear of crossing lines we were never meant to cross. For every scientific explanation, another tale rises from the ruins. For every skeptic, a witness whispers of something they saw, something they felt. Whether it was fear, fungus, or something far more ancient, something still watching, one thing remains certain: the dead do not rest easily when disturbed. If you found this story chilling, subscribe to the Dark Tomes, and remember, some secrets are better left buried.